Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our third session for our Tinkercad and Microbits. We've come a long way over the 3 sessions. They don't seem like a lot, but actually each session is quite a bit of work you're all putting in. So congratulations on doing that. I am going to flip my screen here. Give me 1 second. And yeah, so to get back to where we are, like right now, we are on our mini golf course, and I believe we were finishing off just getting our basic ramp up into the hole on the end. Am I correct in that assumption, or am I like way off with where we are? I think this is where we are. I just want to make sure that you're all in Tinkercad and you all have something kind of similar like what I have here. So, okay, I'm getting a yes on the chat. Okay, so I am not totally way off. I'm actually kind of in the right place. And I realize you're all kind of maybe a little bit different because it's hard for us all to stick together, but we should be around here for our design. Now, just to reiterate, the falling apple, when we click on the falling apple, it takes us into our Tinkercad simulation lab, and you have to make sure that the pieces you put in are locked. Now look at, I already have 2 pieces that aren't locked here. You can see they got the rolling icon. So I'm going to click on this first piece. I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard, and I'm going to click, oh, not Control, sorry. I'm going to hold down Shift on my keyboard, and that's going to select these 2 pieces, and I'm going to make sure they're both locked because if I don't lock them, they're going to jiggle around all over the place, which is not ideal. Okay, so let's see. What is my ball? Oh, my ball material is, oh, I used ice. That's right, because ice slides. Okay, let me check this out. I want to see how mine rolls. Go check how yours rolls. Oh, I got lucky. My hole-in-one works pretty well, so that's kind of what we worked on last time. So I'm going to jump back out to my design. Is everyone's rolling okay? Does anyone have any questions before I get started and kind of talk about some more advanced stuff here with building out our course so we can start to really fly? All right, so our next order of business is we're going to create what's called a 180. Now, a 180 is a little bit more advanced, and I actually did it with the high school students, and I actually got it the second time I did it, which was just luck again. So with all of you, I'm going to try my best. So what we're going to do to create the 180 is, first of all, we need to make our workplace bigger. Our mini golf course right now is so tiny and small, there's no way we can do anything with this. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to click on your mini golf course, the bottom part, that is, the part that the ball rolls on. And I'd like you to ungroup it with the ungroup button right here. So ungroup it. You might have to ungroup it a bunch of times because you might have, you're also probably going to lose the hole here. So keep ungrouping it until you have it kind of into its separate pieces. You can see I have all of these separate pieces now. And what I want you to do is I want you to take the board that's on the far left, this board over here, and I want you to move that board, and sorry, I'm just gonna get myself in a better position. I want you to move that board over this way. I want you to like extend the board way down here, about that far. It doesn't have to be, there's no exact measurement on how far this is, but about that far. So if yours isn't working, remember, you got to keep clicking it, and you got to keep clicking ungroup until there's no more, until it goes this kind of shaded gray right here. Then once you've done that, you've ungrouped as much as you can. Okay, so once you've got that, and you've got your board way down here, I want you to come to your flat portion of your mini golf course, and I want you to grab the black square, and we're just going to drag, and I want you to make your mini golf course much wider. Okay, we're going to increase the width of our course. Once you've done that and you've got the width wider, I want you to come down to the bottom board, which is your backboard, and you're going to kind of do the same thing. This one's a little trickier because you have to find the black square. You can see I'm hovering over it. Don't grab the white square. That's not going to work very well for you. Grab the black square and pull it out and put the black square at the end. And I'm just kind of moving my way around my mini golf course here. Grab the one down here. Same deal. No different. Hover over the black square and pull. Oops, I grabbed the white square. That was my mistake. You can see it's kind of moving around. And there we go. Now, once you've got this all set up, and you've got a much larger course here, I want you just to grab your hole, the hole that you put down on the end, and we're actually going to move it around here somewhere. It doesn't matter where you put it. Don't worry about that for now. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. So essentially, as your skills and your skills in Tinkercad now are moving from basic to intermediate, as you build more stuff out, you'll start to realize that for what we're doing right here, there's a lot of options for building out ramps and various types of kind of mini golf to kind of change the style of your course and how the ball moves through it. The more advanced you get and the better you can move things around, the more advanced creations you can build out and start to group them together. How do you separate the bars on the side? Okay. So the bars on the side, these guys right here, you want to click on here and you have to ungroup it. So you have to, this button, this one right here, you can see it says ungroup on it right here, this one. So you got to click on the whole thing and you got to click on this button right here that says ungroup. And when you click on it, if it's black, that means you can ungroup it. And then you can start to separate the bars out from the side. You can click on them and you can grab them and pull them wherever you want. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. On the side of your mini golf course here, you can start looking at under basic shapes, you have things called creatures and characters, vehicles and machinery, and structures and scenery. So you can start clicking on these and maybe dragging out a couple things that we can maybe use in our mini golf course. Like maybe you want to put a person in it, or you want to put a head in it, or some ice cream, or I don't know. There's like so many crazy things in here. So you can start pulling things on the side that we can put into the course if you're just kind of waiting for your next step. So I'm going to come back to my basic shapes. Okay. I'm going to, I don't know why the eyebrows have to be angry eyebrows. I'm just going to put some shades on them. Whoa, shades are big. Way too big. I'm going to shrink this down, get this a bit smaller. And one thing I don't like is that my snap grid is on. So I'm going to turn my snap grid off. And I'm just going to lower this in, bring this out, and maybe put some shades on my character. A little bit. I'm gonna hit F. Remember, F is your friend, right? F is really, really handy for building stuff out. He doesn't have any hair. So what else could I do? I don't think there's actually any hair in here. I might have to actually build hair out. Oh, there's a hat. I'll put a hat on him. Okay, there's a hat. Way too big as usual. Everything comes in so large. Shrink that down, bring that over, focus on it. F is your friend for focusing as always. And I'm just going to put a hat on top of my little character here and kind of stick it on his head like that. Okay. Now, is anyone else having any trouble? Because I've got 2 thumbs up over there and I'm thinking I should be seeing some more pretty soon. Sure, Sunwoo, I can totally explain it to you again. What you need to do is for this part right here, you need to, and let me back this up a little bit so I can show you. You have your whole piece, like it's basically sitting like this, right? Everything's kind of back to, whoops, the way we had it before. And what you want to do is you want to ungroup it. So you have to click on this piece and then you have to ungroup it. So it's this one right here. So you ungroup your entire mini golf piece right here. So you click the ungroup button, which I'm hovering over it right now. It says ungroup. Oh, the person. Sorry, Sunwoo. I thought you were talking about the whole. I thought you were talking about the whole thing. The person. How did I build them out? Well, I just clicked on creatures and characters, and then I just found the person, and then I dragged them on, and then I just like grabbed the hat. Hold on. I grabbed the hat, which is right here, beanie actually, and I grabbed the sunglasses, and that's all I did. Nothing too fancy. I think I'm going to move on. Okay. And I'm going to kind of talk about how we build out our 180. I'll talk about the person in a minute. So to build out the 180, we need to basically create a bunch of boards that are going to loop around this way and bring the ball back towards the hole over here. If we were to build this in real life, we'd probably use some I'd probably use 1x4s to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my front piece, which is this piece right here. And I am going to bring this whole piece here, I think, a little bit higher up. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this. And I am going to, if I bring this high, I don't think I want to bring it too high. So actually, you know what? I'm not going to bring it up. I'm going to leave it the height it is. I don't want to confuse any of you. So I'm going to take this piece right here and I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to click on the duplicate button next to the trash can. Next to the trash can, there's the duplicate button. We've done this many times before. And all I want you to do is bring this out. So you've got your duplicate, and I just want you to grab your duplicate and I want you to rotate it like just 22.5 degrees like that. So you can see I'm just rotating it one click, and then I'm just going to kind of bring it like that. And it's just kind of sit like just kind of close to my other piece, maybe sitting right through it. And what I'm going to do, you can see right here, and the height of this piece is 8.16. Now I don't know what the height of your piece is, but I'm going to lower this by 1 millimeter. So if this is 8.16, then I am going to lower it to 7.16. Just I'm going to put it a tiny bit lower than the other one. And you can see it's just a tiny bit lower, not much, just enough to, we're going to create a bit of momentum. Now, what you might have noticed already, and you're probably like, oh man, there's like no room here. So this part right here, I'd also like you to extend it out. So let's grab this part, let's push this out, and let's extend our course this way. That'll give us a little more room to work with for what we want to do next. I'm going to push this part out right here, push this part out right here, and I'm going to come around, and this part right here, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit and push this part. Oops, I keep grabbing the white arrow tool, the white square, when I should be grabbing the black square. There we go. And there we go. So that's pushed out a little bit. Now I've got way more room to work with. Okay, so once I've got that, I'm going to click back on here. This is my first piece. This is my second piece. And I'm going to duplicate it again. I'm going to bring it out, and I'm just going to rotate it again. One, except this time, I'm going to rotate it two. So I'm going to go 1, 2. That's rotating 45 degrees. You can see the first one is 22.5 degrees. This one is 45 degrees. So it's a little bit of a steeper angle. Okay. And then I'm going to lower it by 1 millimeter. So I'm going to click on it. This one's 7.16. I'm going to go 6.16. That's going to lower that one down again. And then I'm just going to come in again. I'm going to click it. I'm going to duplicate it. You can probably see the pattern I'm using here. And I'm just going to rotate it. There we go. And I'm just going to rotate it just a little bit, bring it out, and I'm going to lower it by 1 millimeter. So I'm going to go 5.16. So each time that I am lowering this, each time I'm going along, I'm going a little bit lower. So this part right here, we are going to move this. We're going to rotate it again. So let's click on this. And you'll notice, actually, it's kind of strange. If you stay on the same piece and click rotate, it'll rotate the same amount of degrees that you did your last one on. So I'm just going to click here. It's called a pattern, but we're not going to, I don't think we need to get into patterns. Let's rotate this a little bit more. And again, I'm going to go down by 1 degree. Or sorry, 1 millimeter, not 1 degree. And I'm going to duplicate again. And you can see slowly, and this does take a while, but it'll be worth it in the end. We are getting kind of a rotation here. So I'm going to go 3.16. And I'm going to keep rotating around until I get, I'm going to go again, go down by 2.16. Now I'm getting close to the bottom. You can see I can't really go down too much farther. And then this final one, I'm just going to hit Control D because that's actually a faster way to rotate. This one's nice and straight. So it's 1 point. I'm just going to go 1 millimeter. So there we go. So if you look at my pattern here that I've created, I have kind of, I come out this direction. And what I want my ball to do is to come up here. I want to drop, 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 and then drop and move all the way around and come back this direction. And I basically want to drop the ball into the hole right there. That's my kind of idea around creating kind of a 180 back to the same point. Now you might have to maneuver some of these pieces around a little bit. There's no real hard and fast rule on how to create this. It's just a style of creation for creating a 180 if you were to use real boards on this. You'd have to saw them perfectly though, so it would be a little harder in real life. Now this won't work as it sits, simply because the ball is going to roll down here, and then it's just going to roll, and it's going to keep going straight. It's not going to curve at all. So the next thing we need to talk about is, well, how do we curve the ball? How do we get it so it like wraps around? And the best way to do that is to create little walls that will kind of block the ball as it goes all the way around and then bring it back to this point. So to do that, I'm going to click on my first piece, which is right here. And then I am going to click copy. And all I'm going to do is, you know what, let me do this a different way. I'm going to click on off, and I'm going to change my grid to 1 millimeter right here. Sorry, my grid to 1 millimeter, my movement. So I'm going to click on here, click copy. And then this is going to come over like that. And I'm going to go, I don't know, it doesn't have to be too thick of a wall. I'm just going to go 2.25. I'm going to bring the wall up. And you can see I've just created a very small wall there. The height of that, I don't know, mine's at 20 millimeters. You can put it even lower. I don't think it has to be 20. Maybe I'll put it at mine at like 16. So there's my first wall. So you want one wall here. And then all you're going to do is you're going to duplicate the wall and keep bringing it and moving it so it wraps around this way. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of zoom. Remember, hit F is a great way to focus. I am going to, now this is a bit more advanced technique. If you are on a, I wonder if this would work on a Mac. I don't know. If I hold down Alt, A-L-T on my keyboard and I click and pull, it pulls a copy of the piece out. So you actually don't have to click the copy button. All you do is you hold down Alt on your keyboard, A-L-T, click and pull, and it will pull a copy out like that, which is really fast and handy. And I'm just going to rotate it. So I'm going to rotate my copy. There we go. And I'm going to kind of bring myself into a different position here so I can do this a bit easier. And let's see if I keep copying these. What does it do? It's not going to make a pattern. So here we go. Bring it out. I'm going to kind of line that up. So there's another one. I've got my third wall. So I have 1, 2, 3 walls now. I'm going to bring out another one. So here we go. Let's rotate this one. This is I believe this is the flat one. There we go. So that's the next wall. I'm going to rotate again. That one actually did a pattern, which is good. And there's my next one, which is that one there. And there's my next one. You'll notice the pattern starting to form now, right? And then there's my final one. So it's not, in real life, you would obviously be sawing these to the correct size, but we're not in real life. We're in Tinkercad. So now you can see you've created kind of almost like a wraparound that comes all the way back here. Now, the only issue with this wraparound is each one of these pieces are individual. So which is going to be a bit of a pain when we want to actually bring this into the simulation lab. And that means we have to click on every piece and make it static. So we have to click on all of them. So we definitely don't want to do that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of come out and I'm going to click on top. And I'm going to highlight all of this. Make sure you do not highlight your ramp, because if you highlight your ramp, you'll group the ramp together with the other pieces. So highlight all of your build and just click the group button. And there you go. You'll have, and also group it with this back piece here. So I'm going to click on it, hold down shift, click that back piece, and I'm going to group that. So now my entire thing is grouped together as one piece. Remember, the ball and the ramp, you do not want to group those together because that will cause problems for you inside of the simulation lab. And I'm just going to hang out for a sec. That was a little hard on my wrist. There was a lot of moving stuff around. Now my character, I never really thought of this guy. I could take him and I could bring him and put him up kind of in the middle as just a little kind of interesting piece to add in the middle of my mini golf course that maybe my ball is going to go around. So there we go. Now also with him, you'll want to make him one piece. So I'm going to click on the hat, click on the glasses, and click on him, and I'm going to group them all together. And that should make him one piece because I don't want him like to be a bunch of different pieces. Sure thing. I'll explain the pattern. So let me come over here. I'll show you a pattern over here, actually. So if I bring a, let's say this is one of my boards right here. So there's my board. Let's pretend it's this blue board right here. If I take my board and I copy it and I bring it out and I rotate it like that. Now, if I keep clicking copy, it's going to make copies all the way around. Do you see how I did that? I'll do that one more time. So if I click on the board and I make a copy and I bring it out and I rotate it and I click and if I keep clicking the copy button, it's going to make copies all the way around like that. It's going to make a pattern essentially. Now, the thing about patterns is if you pull it out, okay, let's say I do this and let's say I do this. And then let's say I click on over here and then I come back and I'm like, okay, let's copy. It won't do it. You have to make sure that you don't click anywhere else. You have to click here, click your copy, bring it out, rotate it, and don't click anywhere else. If you click anywhere else, your pattern will not work. Yeah, so that's how your pattern works. Now, I'm assuming, let me try this actually. I don't think I've ever tried this before. If I click my copy, bring it out, I'm going to rotate it one, and then I'm going to lower it just by one. Do I still get it? Ah, look at that. Beautiful. That's actually way easier. That's actually way easier than the way I did it. You can see it makes a perfect wrapping pattern around. I didn't want to do it that way because patterns can be, they're not always going to work if you click somewhere else on your screen. You can, and building it out by hand's okay too. Like it's good to practice moving around, but really if you want to do it quick, there's your beautiful pattern. Okay, does anyone have any questions about patterns or how they work? It's a bit more of an advanced feature, but it's pretty cool. It works really well. I'm just going to delete my pattern here so I don't have that in the way. And yeah, I'm actually curious if this is actually going to wrap around. That's how I got it. Again, and just as very important, patterns will not work if you click anywhere else on your screen. The pattern will break and it won't work. Okay, so let's come back in here. I've got my basic 180, which is your 180s are probably nicer than mine, actually. And I'm going to click on my apple. And it's going to bang and bang like that. And I am going to click on my full course. I am going to lock it. If you recall, we have to lock it by clicking on that and making sure it's a ball with 4 arrows. And then I'm going to click on my guy here. And I'm going to lock him because I don't want him to move around. And honestly, if this works the first time, it's going to be shocking. So let's see. This is always the fun part. So let's click play. And oh my goodness. Oh, man. I was literally like, honestly, I want to see how close I was. I really have to see that again because that was ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to reset it. Hold on a second here. I'm going to click play. How close am I? How close? That is unfair. Honestly, that is. Anyway, I really wish for all of you I got a hole in one, but that is not happening today. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's see, what could I do to alleviate this? I could either move my hole over, but that means I have to come back out. Or let's see if I move my, if I move this, will that change the trajectory of my ball? Let's see, if I move that to the left, does that change the trajectory of my ball? I feel like no. No, it doesn't. It's still going to do the same trajectory. So I might have to move my hole, which I almost feel like that's kind of cheating, but I mean, whatever. We can do whatever we want, right? I have to ungroup this whole thing, though, which is a bit of a pain. So yeah, I'm going to have to. So I'm going to ungroup it. And then this is... it's not cheating. I shouldn't say it's cheating. It's like in golf course, you can't move the hole to where you want it to be, but in Tinkercad we can. So, and then I'm going to group this. I'm going to move my guy out of the way because I don't want him to group with the rest of it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold on Shift and click on my bottom piece here, and I'm going to group it. So there it goes. Put my guy back on. go back to my simulation, and let's see how we do here. I really feel like this is going to be the time. I have to static these. Be aware that you might have to restatic things, and I think this time I'm going to get it. Yes. All right. Sweet. I'm going to actually come into some of your workspaces because I've been in mine for a long time. So I need to see what else is going on in here. So let me come out. Oh, whoa. Some of you are making some cool stuff. I want to check this one out. Ah, close. Yes. I feel like I'm gonna try this one. Sorry. I hope you don't mind. I'm really curious. Now is this piece? No, that they're all separated. So what am I going to do? I'm going to highlight all of this and I'm going to make it static. And that should be enough, I think, shouldn't it? And okay, let's just see if this works. I'm so curious. Okay, so it's getting stuck right here at the bottom. So what I would do here is I would grab this guy. I'm not gonna, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to throw the anvil. That was terrible. What you want to do here is you want to back this up a little bit and maybe, because I think it's getting stuck like right there. I love this color though. It's like a soapstone or something. It's like diamonds. Anyway, I'm going to let you mess with that. That's your world to play in. I'm just so, it's exciting to see everyone's work. Carson, this is super cool. Oh, you're even putting like pieces on the side. Interesting. Cool. And your hole has elongated. Nice. That's smart, actually. It's smarter than the way I did it because then you're guaranteed for it to go in, right? That's pretty cool. Now, Carson, you could play around and add some something from the creatures and characters or the vehicles and machines or, the structure and scenery. You could add a mountain into this, Carson. Look, like a full-on mountain right in the middle of your mini golf course. Anyway, I'm not going to do that, but just here to throw some suggestions around. Your designs are looking pretty good. Sorry, I'm going to come back into mine. Now, before I go any farther, because I know you're all working on this part, does anyone have any questions for me, or does anyone need me to redo any of this piece right here? Because I want to, once you get this part, I want to kind of show you some really interesting other stuff you can do to make your golf course even crazier. Okay, so you might have noticed that the course, and I'm going to make my screen bigger actually so you can see more of what I'm doing. At any time, and this is something we didn't even talk about this. At any time, you can make your grid here larger. You can see that our course right now is kind of going off into space, and I didn't extend my joists out. If I wanted this to be more realistic, if I was presenting this, I would definitely have these joists pushed out and I would add further joists down here. Yeah, because if you wanted this to be a real design that they were going to make, for us, we're playing around and we're having some fun, so that doesn't matter. But just be aware, those joists are there for a reason, because if you were ever to build this, you would want this top piece of plywood to sit on some joists, or nothing's gonna hold it up. So as I was saying, your workspace right here is small. It's tiny, actually. It's really, really tiny. So what you can do is you can click on settings and you can come into width and length and you can erase it. So I'm going to change the width and length. I'm going to make this, sorry, you have to click on it and backspace it. I don't know why it's like that. I'm going to double it. So I'm going to go 400. I'm going to hit tab. Oh, tab's not letting me go to the next. Okay, and I'm going to type in 400. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to click X. And suddenly, I am playing with a much larger workspace. Now, the maximum, I believe, I think the maximum is 1,000 by 1,000. You can't go any larger than that. But a good rule of thumb is to double your workspace. Once you start running out of workspace, then you can kind of grab your entire piece. And I'm going to actually move my piece down to the corner. I guess if you looked at it from the top, if I was to look at it like this, I'm going to move this piece into the upper left corner up here, and you'll see why I'm going to do that in a second. So that, yeah, so that's just going to sit like that. And just to reiterate that, that was under settings, and I changed my width and my length to 400 by 400 units. And if you're wondering, I believe one square, if I zoom in on one square is 10 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, one square is 10 by 10 units. So you're basically, yeah, you can see how much larger this thing is being built out. So there's my design. Let's see if anyone else has any questions for you, for me. Okay. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is really interesting. I'm going to check this one out. Aiden. I think it's Aiden. Oh, man. That's awesome. I love this. Now remember, you got to group this, right? You got to group this with this because you need the hole on the end. But this is looking really interesting. Now, the one issue you're going to have here, right here, is that when this ball comes down here, it's going to hit and smack into that part right there. You can see that edge. So what I'm going to do for you, and let me help you out with this a little bit, is I am going to get this ball. I'm going to rotate it a bit this way. I'm going to rotate this down. That should give us a little bit better roll. And in this part right here, I'm actually going to, these are two pieces connected. I see. So there's a whole extra piece right here. It might be better to get, actually, let's keep the sword because I know you like the sword. So let's ungroup that. Let's grab that. So I'm going to ungroup it again. And let's grab this sword and let's make sure he keeps the sword because we don't want to remove that. And then delete that. And this part right here is looking good. We just want to connect. I'm just going to ungroup it again. And I'm going to extend this part out. That should help you. That should help that connect a little bit better. There we go. Now that should, you might have to go around and lower some of the other pieces. I'll do with that. So that one comes lower. That one comes lower. This one comes lower. I think you might have some extra pieces in here. Let me delete some of those for you. Let's lower this piece. And let's lower this piece. And that should be pretty good. I think they're all lowering. Yeah, they are. They're all going down a little bit. And then we're just going to back these out just a tiny. Let's not move that guy. These are grouped. So I'm going to ungroup them. And I'm going to move this piece out just a little bit. Just so your ball has a little bit more room to move through your course here. I noticed there's a couple extra parts in here, so I'll just delete them for you. And there we go. That should be pretty good. All right, let me rotate this guy up like that. And this guy up like that. Whoa, I'm going the wrong direction here. There we go. Okay, that should be pretty good, actually. Yeah, you can give that a try in the this simulation lab and see how that works. You will need to group this, so you do get the hole there. So let me help you with that, and you're good. All right, I'm going to come back out. Okay, so the kind of next piece I want to chat about, and this is, I'm not going to build out and do things exactly from this point on because this part on is kind of more your imagination and how you want to build out the rest of your design. Once I can get this wrapped around and into the hole, what I can do is, and please remember that my my workspace setting is 400 by 400 now. Everything's much, much bigger than it was before. So I'm going to highlight everything. And what I can do is I can raise it up in the air. So I can bring my entire design up here. You can see my design is now like way off the ground. Now, why would I want to do this? Well, I want to do this because, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of show you interesting little part I haven't really talked about yet. If you click on the, I'll come down here. How do you play the animation on the falling apple? Animation. So if I click on the apple right here, if I click on the apple, there's a play button down on the bottom. Is that what you're referring to? That might be what you're referring to. So yeah, if I click the play button right here, it runs my simulation. And you can see, watch what happens. The ball's going to fall down, and then I don't know where it goes. I got an extra board here that fell. I have no idea what that's doing. Yeah. So sorry, Hebe. That's if you're referring to animation, that is the button right there on the bottom. Actually, you can hit spacebar. I never knew that. That's handy. I don't know why a board is dropping on the bottom of my, oh, it's one of my joist boards. I guess I didn't group it. Okay, let me come back. Yeah, Sahib, everything falls on yours because you haven't, when you click on it, first of all, the best way to alleviate that, to make sure nothing falls, is to highlight your entire piece and make sure it's all grouped together. You want everything grouped together using this button right here. It says group on it. And then when you come into the apple, or the simulation lab as I call it, when you click on the piece that you don't want to fall, so you click on the piece you don't want to fall and you make sure that, and look, I'm hovering over it right now, you want to make sure it's a ball with 4 arrows around it. If it's this rolling ball right here, watch what happens. I'm going to click play, watch. My whole piece falls on the ground, which is not what I want. So what I have to do is I have to make sure that when I click the piece, I have to make sure that this is static. So it has a ball and it has 4 arrows around the edges, if that makes sense. Stick to the ground. Good point, Amanda. All right, to stick to the ground, if you're asking me like, how do I make something stick to the ground? Click on it, hit D. And when you hit D, it drops it and sticks it to the ground. So D is your friend for that piece that you're talking about there. Does anyone have any more questions for me before I kind of talk about the next more advanced part here?
How do I group it?
Who said that?
Me, Aiden.
Oh, Aiden. I thought I recognized that voice. How do you group it? So Aiden, to group it, like if you're in your space right now, to group something, you highlight it, like you left click on your mouse and highlight it. And then
I'm on an iPad.
Oh, an iPad. Oh, that's a little different. Oh, Aiden, I know. I think I remember on an iPad. When you're on an iPad, your multiple items, I think all you do is you click with your finger on one, and then you click with your finger on the next one, and then it should say 2 items selected. Does it say that?
Yes, but I have too much.
You have tons of them. Hold on. Actually, you know what, Aiden? This is a really good question because I didn't realize you were on an iPad. Give me 1 second. Now, Aiden, solutions. While this warms up and I'm just looking at the iPad waiting for it to actually go. Hold on 1 second here. How do you ungroup it? Amanda, good question. So Amanda, if I group 2 things together, now and I click on the group button, they're now grouped. If I click on them, the ungroup button is right there. It's next to the group button, right on the top. Okay, Aiden, I'm almost there. Give me a sec. Okay, here we go. Just need Tinkercad. All right, so sorry, Amanda, did that answer your question? All right, so if I bring out 2 pieces, Aiden, this is for you. If I click on one and then I don't think you can put the box, like, see, if you look at my screen right here, that box, I don't think you can do that on an iPad. I'm just trying to do it right now and it won't work. The only way to do it on an iPad is you have to click on each piece. I know it's a pain, but honestly, I can't think of another. I don't see an option for creating like this little bounding box right here. Yeah, Aiden, sorry. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to group multiple things with a bounding box. That's just, I guess it's one of the shortcomings of the iPad. Balls.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna come back out. I'm gonna get rid of my 2 boxes here. And now, sorry, I was talking about our next part here. So we're gonna use what's called channels. Channels are really cool. If you click on the magnifying glass, which is right here, it says search shapes, and you type in channels or channel. I can't remember which one it is. Channels. So if you type in channels, you get all of these options for channels. Now, the reason why these might be very useful for you in this like mini golf kind of thing we're building is because you can take a channel, and I'm just going to grab this channel, for example, and I'm going to put it on the ground. You can take a channel and you can place it wherever you want. Let me bring out, I'm going to bring out a couple channels. So I'm going to bring out 1, 2, 3 channels, and I'm going to close them back up. And these channels are really cool. They give you the ability to funnel things in a specific direction. So if you look here, I know it's a bit hard to see, but I'm putting my channel below the hole in my floor. And I'm going to angle the channel up a little bit, and I'm going to push the channel up. Now, now this channel, I can extend it. I can make it longer, so I can have the channel kind of come out the side, the bottom of my mini golf. This would be a crazy mini golf. Oh, and by the way, if you want to make this realistic, no mini golf thing floats in the air like that. That's pretty silly. So what I would do definitely is I would put some pillars there. So I would grab maybe some of these cylinders, put them on the ground, bring them up, and connect the cylinders, at least connect the cylinders into your 20 by 20. Let's go 10 by 10. I don't need these so big. 10 by 10. Connect the cylinders into your platform if you do raise it off the ground, because that's not very realistic, is it? It can't float in the air. So let's go like that. Grab both. Put two more down here, and you can see I've kind of got my platform. Yeah, so these channels, I'm going to bring them up. Bring this one over. And let's push this up, push this one out. And I'm going to rotate, push this channel down. This one's getting a bit fancier than I wanted to get for this session, but I'll show you because it's kind of interesting. And let's bring this channel over. I'm going to lower that channel a bit more. And there we go. I've actually got a channel. And what I could do here, and this is a lot of fun, is I could build out another entire platform here with another hole in it somewhere over here and run a whole nother mini golf kind of section part right here, right? So let's see. I'm actually curious if this is going to work. So let's, I'm going to group everything together again because I like grouping things because it makes my life easier. So let's group. So this piece is one. Oh, there's that rogue board right here. I'm going to group that too. Okay, so this is now, if I grab my piece, it's one giant piece, and that's just, it's important to make things one piece because it's going to make your life so much easier. How do you move the tabletop up? Sure, I'll show you how to do that. So to move this table up, which is your question, I highlighted the table. So I went like this. I used my bounding box with my mouse. So I left, clicked and dragged. And then all I did was I used this little black arrow right here to move my table up into the air. The little black arrow on the top is how you raise things up and push things down with that little tool right there. So hopefully that makes sense. Does anyone else? Oh, I'm just checking the chat here. Yeah, Sahib, hopefully that makes sense there. Okay, I'm gonna leave mine for now. And you can see how you can make this really like interesting. You can make another entire platform here, and you could have another hole that it drops into. You could even have it come down farther. You could raise this whole thing and go way up. I mean, you could put this up. You can, if I zoom out, I could put this thing like up here, and I could have multiple platforms that come down. And there's no reason, I mean, it is a mini golf course, but there's no reason why you can't have multiple ramps. So if I want to create two ramps with a ball, with the ball coming out of it, I can create two just by duplicating and making another copy. I could have one like over here, and one could come like this direction, totally different direction. It's totally up to you how you want to create it. You can see then I could run a different kind of ramp over here like that. So there's lots of options for creating your own style and building out your own ramp and course. Okay, so I am going to remember the best way to do this. So I'm going to click on my plus sign on the top. And then I am going to type in make code microbit. And it is the first hit on the top, Microsoft Make Code Microbit. And we've been in here. This is our third time in here, I think now. Remember to sign in. I always remember to sign into my account. Okay, so here we are. So what I'm going to do now, see if I can remember how to do this correctly. There. Okay. So the microbit, and I'm just going to kind of undo everything for those that need a little bit of help with it. Okay, so the microbit should be attached into, and I'm going to kind of undo everything here. The microbit should be attached into your breakout board. So again, here's our breakout board. Here is our microbit. And we're just going to snap them together. And then your microbit and breakout board should look like that. So everyone should have it hooked together. Okay. Once that is hooked up and ready to go, we hooked in, I believe last time, and correct me if I'm wrong, last time we worked on our servo. So we had our microbit here, and we had our servo plugged into, hold on, sorry, it's all backwards, plugged into the number 1, and you can see the number 1 right there. So number 1, and I took my servo, and sorry, I'm just going to put it in there. Okay, so you can see now my servo, which is this little guy right here, is plugged into the number 1. And I'm going to do really, really close to that so you can see it. So it says number 1 right there. You'll notice the orange wires on the top and the brown wires on the bottom. And of course, the red wires in the middle. And that basically allows the servo to get power and get data. So the data is coming from the orange wire on the top, the yellow, the power is the red, and the black is the ground. Okay, and we did this last time. So we wired up our servo. Now, the part we're going to work on today, and I don't have actually, I had to send my one out to someone else. So your light strip, okay? So I have a, this one isn't exactly the same as the one you've got. Yours is a little bit different than mine. Mine has a lot more lights on it. But essentially on one end of your light strip, it would be this end right here. Sorry, I have a lot of extra wires in mine. I'm going to pull them out so you can see this a bit easier. Your light strip has, now this one, like I said, is a little different than yours, but yours should have those colors. So the orange, and it should color match your piece right here. Okay, so it should color match the yellow, the red, and the black. Is anyone having any trouble with this part? And all you want to do, and like I said, I don't have my piece, but all you want to do is plug your wires for your light strip, which is this one right here. You want to plug it into the number 2 right there. See the number 2? I'm going to close really close on it. And you plug that into the number 2. So number 1, the servo is plugged into. And number 2 is where we're going to plug our light strip into. Okay, so number 1 is the servo. And number 2 is the light strip. And make sure you plug it the right way around because they are color coded. And if they're the wrong way around, it just won't work. Okay, so once we've got that hooked up and you've got your servo plugged in and you've got your light strip plugged into your microbit, and I'm just going to do the physical part here so we can all make sure we're doing this. You're going to take your micro USB, which is the long white cord that you received, or maybe yours isn't white. Maybe it's, actually, I think yours might be short black cord. They're the same thing. Plug it into the top of your microbit. And remember, it only goes in one way. And then you're going to take the USB side of your microbit and you plug that into your computer. Okay. So now that you have your microbit plugged into your computer and you have the various parts coming off your microbit, let's go into our code. So inside of microbit make code, which is this site right here, you should be logged in with, and it should have your initials on the top, or if you're, fancier, it'll have an avatar. Click on new project, and I'm going to call this one LEDs for our light strip. So I'm going to call it LEDs. I'm just going to hit enter. And the way the LED strip works, the one with the 10 LEDs on it, is you need to bring in a special library into your microbit. Because if you look right now, there's no way to activate your LEDs. The servo is really easy, and we talked about this last time. The servo is just extensions, and you can see there's the servo right there. So I'll go back. So extensions and the servo. And all you did is you click on that, and you can see that we have the servo now. And we talked about setting the servo up and how to do that last time. So I'm not going to talk about that one. But for the light strip, it's a different extension. So there's our servo extension. Let's come back down to extensions. And we are going to come up to the top. Actually, we don't need to come up to the top because it's right over here. It's this pink one. and it's very common, and it's called NeoPixel. And it says Adafruit NeoPixel driver. NeoPixels just means LEDs. It's a fancy word for LEDs by Adafruit. So click on it, and when you click on it, it'll take a second to think, and you'll notice, if you give it a second, you now have what's called a NeoPixel library inside of, or on the right here on your Microbit. So you have your servo library you added, and then you have your NeoPixel library you added. Okay. Now, once you've got that, you've got your NeoPixel library. I'm going to, I don't like using forever blocks. So I'm going to get rid of the forever block, and I'm going to use the start block right here. Whenever you start up a light strip, you have to do a special piece of code that says basically, okay, Microbit, you can talk to the light strip. So to get that special piece of code, we click on NeoPixel, which is the one where all our lights are. And at the very, very top, which makes it handy, is something that says set strip to NeoPixel at pin 0 with 24 LEDs as RGB GRB format. This looks really confusing, but I'll explain it. So grab this top piece of code, and you just take it out and you put it inside your OnStart like that. So how this works basically, and you'll actually look on your Microbit, this is your virtual Microbit, is it attaches to the pin 0 on your Microbit, and it attaches to the 3 volt, which is your power, and it attaches to the ground. So if you come across here and you read from left to right, it says strip. Think of strip as like a bucket that says strip on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole blue part, and this whole blue part goes inside that bucket. This is called a variable. So this whole blue part goes inside of the strip bucket. Now it says NeoPixel at pin 0. Now, if you recall, and if I'm going to go back to my Microbit, I'm looking at my Microbit, and my LED strip is not on pin 0. It's on pin 1. So what I need to do is click pin 0, and I'm going to, actually, sorry, it's not on pin, no, did we put it on pin 2? Yeah, we put it on pin 2. That's my bad. We put it on pin 2. So the NeoPixel strip is on pin 2, and you can see it changes it on your virtual Microbit here to pin 2. How do you get the set strip? So right here, Amanda, what you do is you click on, Amanda, do you have the extension? Did you get the extension? So you click on extension, and there will be a little pink NeoPixel library right here. You click on that, and once you've got that, you just need to click on NeoPixels, and it's this very, very top one up here, Amanda. The very first one under NeoPixel. So once you have the pin 2 set up, you have to put how many LEDs you have on yours. So we have, I think the ones you have is 10 LEDs. You can count them. It should be 10 LEDs on yours. Maybe it's 8 or 10. I can't remember. And that's it. It's ready to go. So all that does is it takes this big blue capsule and it puts it inside this little thing that says strip right here. So that means anytime we use strip, we say the word strip, we can do something with it. So let's start. Let's OnStart. Let's go to our NeoPixel. Let's do something fun. I don't know if I want to start with this. Okay, let's start with something really simple. So let's go strip show color red. So bring this out. You can put this in here, and you can change this to color. So you can do like violet. Now if you go to your 3 buttons here, you click connect device. Your Microbit is connected. You click next, you click pair, and your Microbit should be up here. Hold on. I'll connect mine in because mine's not showing. And we did this last time. This is the same connection process that we did last time. Sorry, mine's getting all funky here. Hold on one second. So let's try that again. I'm going to disconnect, and then I'm going to connect. There we go. So next, pair, and you got to click on it, click connect, and mine says failed, but it's actually good to go. Once you've connected to it, you can just click the download button right here, and what should happen is your strip should turn purple. I don't have mine. Actually, I do have mine plugged in. Mine's just a little different than the rest of yours. Okay. I'm going to come over. Now, this is okay. I mean, if you download the code and it just basically sets your strip to purple, that's a cool piece of code. But we can change the color of the strip. So, for example, and we did this with the servo last time too. And we actually did it with our animations the very first lesson. If you click on the input button, there's the on button pressed, so you can bring that out under the purple input. And you can say, okay, I want to change the strip color to something different. So you can go into your NeoPixel. You can grab you can try this one actually. This one's cool. It'll make it the rainbow. It'll make the strip a rainbow color. You can duplicate this. So you can say, all right, that's cool. I got a rainbow color. But how about if I press the B button? What does that do? Well, why don't we run like a pattern? So what you could do is you could grab a NeoPixel, use your strip color here, put it in, and you can click on basic, and you grab the pause button. If you remember, we use the pause button for our animation, and you can duplicate it, and you can go, okay, I'm going to show red, and I'm going to show green. Then I'm going to show, what other colors could I show? Purple. And yeah, so I could show red, green, and purple. The bit of the problem with this is it only shows it once, which is a bit boring. So we can click on loops and we can repeat it. So you can be like, okay, when I press the B button, it runs through this code 4 times, or you can change it to 1,000 times or 3 times or whatever you want. So I'm just going to leave this up here because we're getting near kind of the end here. And I want to kind of focus on the fact that, of course, you can grab your servo now and you could like set your servo angle. So you could be like, at the start, I want to set my P1 servo, which is where my servo is, to 0 degrees. Then I want to set my servo when I press the A button to, I don't know, 180 degrees. And then when I press the B button, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to set my servo to, I don't know, like 39 degrees. So you can play around with the servo and the lights, and you can see actually over here, if you look at your virtual microbit, you can click, and when I press the A button, it goes rainbow, and it goes 180. When I press the B button, it flashes my code, and it goes to, what was my angle again? Oh, 39 degrees right here. So yeah, that's kind of that. Okay, and yeah, that's kind of the end of our 3 sessions. So if you've joined us for all 3, you've learned how to use Tinkercad, I'd say up to probably an intermediate level, and build out your amazing mini golf course, or the start of it, and keep going with it. We've also learned about using our microbit, so how to use animations on it, how to use the servo motor, and today we talked a little bit about the lights and the lighting on the microbit. Now, if you think about in the future and how you could use these 2 things, one of the things we're actually doing where I live is we are building virtual mini golf courses, and then we're using the microbit and we're making them out of wood, and we're putting the microbit on the wood, and we're building things like a servo that swings back and forth to stop the ball from going through, or a thing that lights up when the ball goes through it. So you can combine the Tinkercad course that you build, and then really build it out of wood, and then you can add the microbit into it to kind of create some obstacles and stuff like that for the course. And it sounds kind of advanced, but with these 3 sessions that you've done, you're actually well on the way to understanding how that would work and how you would build those things out. So yeah, hopefully everyone's had fun and learned a little bit about some of this stuff. And I want to thank you all for joining us at Edith Lando, and hope everyone has a great evening.